Welcome to another Business Spotlight, where we share insights, advice, and pearls of wisdom from local business owners in the Cheshire and Manchester area. My name is Kerry James. I'm a business coach and a facilitator. And today I'd like to welcome to the Business Spotlight founder of the Career Garage and owner of the Career Garage, Rebecca Moloney. Good afternoon to you, Rebecca. Welcome to Business Spotlight. Good to have you on.
Good afternoon to you, Kerry. Thank you for inviting me.
You're very welcome. So, Career Garage is a bit of a clue going on in the title, but not too much of a clue. So, how long have you been in business, please, and what area do you specialise in?
No worries. So, I went self-employed 6 years ago this month, setting up a recruitment company called Block IT Recruitment, and I've always sort of worked 30 years almost in recruitment. And then when I'm having chats with candidates, mainly the ones who've been unsuccessful, I obviously still want to give them the bad news, but deliver it in a positive way. And because my recruitment company is just me, and that means I don't have 10 jobs in a similar location with a similar job title. So if you're no good for that one, you might get that one or that one. I would have these chats with people, and then I'd send them off into the big wide world and make them a better candidate for the next recruiter who spoke to them. And I was like, oh, just passed on 20 minutes or so of really great advice. And it's kind of, I know everything's not all about me, but I was benefiting other people in that equation. So during lockdown, things with recruitment stopped, and you sort of rethink what you can offer and what you do. And that's when the penny dropped. So it's like, actually, there's a lot of people out there who just need support in the number one thing, finding a job. The number two thing, moving careers. So they've maybe been doing something for 5, 10, 20 years and really want to do something else and don't see how they make that jump. People who are being made redundant, or people who are just really, really unhappy in their Monday to Friday existence. And I just realised that my years in recruitment meant that I know the difference between a good and a bad application, a good and a bad CV. Has artificial intelligence been considered on a CV or on an application? And for me, a lot of common sense stuff, but for the average person that's been either thrown into the job search life because they've just been made redundant, that they've not put a strategy into this yet, that sort of panic reaction happens. And I just thought, actually, I've got a lot of advice here to help people just stand back, regroup, and actually put some strategy into the activity they're about to start to engage with, the same as you would in any other area in life, really. What tends to happen is there's a sense of panic, or I need to do something about this right now. Get on the job board, find any old job that might be suitable, and just start pressing the apply button. They've not updated their CV, they've not tailored it to that particular role. And it's just a quick fix, and they're hoping they're going to get a quick fix back, and it doesn't work like that.
So, Rebecca, is it the candidates you mainly work with, or is it linked to HR directors in businesses, or what's the commercial model here?
The commercial model is individuals who want to change. They want to develop from being a job seeker to a laser-focused job getter. That's one of my taglines. But also reaching out to HR managers and people who are actually responsible for the well-being of people. If they've got a horrible task to do with making people redundant, then actually, if someone's worked for you for 5, 10 years or so, they've not applied for jobs in 2023, and you're actually throwing them out into a real unknown world without people realising how much it's actually changed. So actually, empowering people with the rule book of applying for roles in 2023 is just essential. I think it's a good way for HR managers to put something positive on the end of something that can be perceived initially as something quite negative. I get people asking me to speak to their graduate offspring who may not have been able to get into their career of choice from leaving university, and their parents will say things to me like, you're probably only going to tell them the same stuff as I have already, but they need to hear it from someone different. My question back to that parent is invariably, when did you last apply for a job? Because are you actually giving your offspring up-to-date advice, or are you dealing with what you did in the 80s and 90s? because it's very different.
So do you have a kind of a set of productized services or packaged services then, Rebecca? What sort of time scale is involved in this?
Okay, so that covers the name of Career Garage in a way. We can run this one of two ways. I've got several options depending on someone's needs. The initial idea was someone driving into my garage, popping the bonnet, let's do some tweaking, get it sorted, drive off. You can maintain your vehicle for the next few years. And that would involve me actually having a look at someone's CV, making suggestions on changing so that it's readable across all platforms, laptops as well as phones and tablets. Is it AI friendly? So there's two options. I can either give someone the advice, go away and do it. That's a bit cheaper than me reviewing and rewriting and reformatting that CV. And then we can look at an hour one-to-one or group work on Zoom, where I can go into a bit of information on the hidden job market, and also how to use LinkedIn as a job seeker. I've got a key phrase in all of that: be more recruiter. So there's two methodologies. If somebody's currently in employment, they might need to keep their LinkedIn activity totally under the radar because they don't want the current employer knowing what they're up to. And then the other people who can let the world know what they're up to. So going into details on LinkedIn, how to use it, how to market yourself. You are a product. And also just to educate people that there's more than one process in getting a job. And I'm about making people become the best applicant. They don't need to be the best candidate until they've secured the interview. And that's the bit I find people are struggling with, because the computer's saying no. People think, oh, somebody will read my CV, they'll see that I've done A, B, and C, and they'll know that I've done D and E as well. AI doesn't work like that. So we need to put those proper foundations in place to understand the process, to make someone the best applicant. Once the interview's in place, then we're dealing with a more human element of the job seeking process. That's when a human will contact you for an interview and your personality will come into it. There's two different processes, and I just need people to identify that.
Okay, so what about main challenges that you've got in your business now then? Clearly the market, I work with some recruitment agencies, and the marketplace is becoming very candidate orientated, etc. What are the main challenges to you in terms of moving your business forward?
I think the challenges for me is people maybe identifying that they actually need a bit of help. Most people have been able to get jobs for the last 5, 10, 20, 25 years without any problem whatsoever. So what's changed? Most people then look inwardly, and self-doubt and anxiety and, concerns, depression can even kick in around it. So for me, it's individuals identifying that actually putting an hour or two on side and drilling down on something like this could actually save them hours and hours of pain and activity going in the wrong direction. I want to help as many people as I can. I just can't do it for free. So I suppose it's finding those people that can invest in their future and use my 30 years experience that I can't just hand out for nothing. So yeah, I think mid-level people and women returning to the workplace after maybe a bit of gap in time. And I've also had great success with teachers and people who've been in very specific careers for their whole life. They don't see how they get from A to B, and it's actually a lot more doable and a lot easier than people think it is. And unfortunately, there's a huge amount of unhappy teachers out there. So I suppose it's up to the government to keep those teachers happy, because at the minute they're reaching out and finding people like me. There shouldn't be a need for me when it comes to graduates, and I find that really upsetting that people are leaving education without the skills to actually sell themselves into recruiters or into employers. There's a definite lack of knowledge that is not being given. I did some voluntary work at a secondary school a couple of years ago, where I went in to speak to some year 11s and 12s about what recruitment consultants are looking for from a work background. And the information the schools were giving their pupils was, I think it might have been collated in the 80s or 90s. it had no bearing on digital recruitment or digital job application or LinkedIn world. There's a lack of education into employment, and
so
but then maybe not for the people who can
opportunity.
afford my services. So it might need to be those organisations that deal with young people and who deal with job seekers. Those organisations might need to be engaging with someone like myself rather than those individuals.
So it sounds like you've got a few kind of different options and different opportunities. So what are the aspirations for Career Garage? Where do you see it in a few years' time, and how different is it gonna be from today, would you say?
I meet and speak to some very interesting people. I've got a massive network into the recruitment sector. I see Career Garage as something that has the potential of maybe becoming a franchise further along the line, but it would mean me getting my processes and structures in place so that there is an actual business idea and a business to actually have other people work within and to put them onto their step of self-employment maybe. So yeah, that's something for over the next couple of years to give some thought to. At the moment, it's getting testimonials and breaking into working with HR managers and actually backing up what I say I can do.
Sure. Okay. So you've been working a while as a business owner. Shall we just move on to what the main lessons you got? I know you're involved in some other things apart from Career Garage as well.
Yeah,
Rebecca. So if you were giving advice to a young, maybe 30-year-old business owner startup now, what might be your top 3 or 4 recommendations?
probably in that would be networking, and then do some more networking. Relationship building and having other people who will blow your trumpet for you. So building relationships with other business owners, that know, like, and trust could be built with some good, consistent activity. You help other people, they want to help you back. You can build a really amazing support network around you. And I think kind of what you do for others will come back to you tenfold as well. So yeah, when you initially set up, it's kind of head down and, oh my God, where am I going to get some money from? And the day-to-day panic stuff. But for me, the bigger picture is the relationship building, having a network of people that you can tap into for help and advice. And I also advise people to be open with those people as well early. If you're struggling with something, actually start telling people that you're struggling with something, because people will be really quick to help you. Don't try and deal with stuff on your own and think you need to give this persona of being this swan gliding on this smooth lake of self-employment. It doesn't exist, and everyone will have all had the same worries and concerns and problems that you've had. So actually telling people that you're struggling with something will probably find you the responses and the answers that you need a lot quicker than letting them keep you awake at night.
And of course, the legs or the feet of the swan are going like the clappers.
Absolutely.
You can't see
You
them.
can always brag on social media that the swim's lovely and smooth, but we all know that isn't the reality.
So do you have a referral strategy in place, for the people that you help with their careers? How do you encourage them to blow your trumpet for you, if you like?
Always asking for testimonials, explaining I'm a business owner and that word of mouth is key, and that that could be shared within my network, and they can then share that within their network. I've also worked with people in Career Garage where, although they're looking for employment, I've actually invited them to some business networking events just to see how business owners actually go out and develop these relationships and actually build relationships. And actually have an opportunity to speak to another 40-odd business owners. They might actually want to employ you, or you might actually see the light and decide employment might not be what you want to do. Maybe it's self-employment. And that's happened with a person that I dealt with once. She got in touch with me in a mad panic. She'd worked for a company for years and years and years. She'd just been made redundant. That company was in the retail sector. So she came to me saying, I need help finding a job in the retail sector. I had her CV, and my first question was, do you need a job or do you need an income? I need a job, I need a job. Don't think you do. And what kind of job is it? Well, I've only been in retail. Yeah, but while you've been in retail, you've chosen to take yourself off to night school and become a qualified bookkeeper so you could do your payroll and accounts better than you would have done them if you just stayed as an administrator. And do you know how much the world needs good bookkeepers? And what are you going to do? Go and stand in another hardware shop and sell door handles and doorbells and things? Or do we look at what skills you've used in that retail environment to actually take you well out of that retail environment and fire you up in something totally different? She's now 8 months along and her bookkeeping business is chock-a-block. She's working with a few great clients, and testimonials like that are worth their weight in gold.
Yeah, great. Very good. Well, thanks for sharing your story, Rebecca. One last question, if I may. If there's any maybe candidates or people looking for roles at the moment, or maybe HR managers that are looking for help with managing their people, whether that's recruitment in or managing them out of the business, what might be a sensible next step?
I'd love it if anybody wanted to link in with me. I'm prolific on LinkedIn, and I'd say that's probably another one of my specialisms that can cross outside of career coaching. I've been working with some business owners lately on them improving their LinkedIn activity. Again, be more recruiter. I've got a website for Career Garage, and I've got a lovely Facebook page for Career Garage as well. So Career Garage and Rebecca Moloney on a Google search should hopefully bring you up.
Right.
Brilliant.
Well, Rebecca, we'll add that URL, that link to
Thank
the
you.
social media posts associated with this video. Thanks ever so much for your time and your input, and all the very best with the Career Garage.
Thank you very much for the opportunity to speak to everyone. Take care, Kerry. Thank you.
You're welcome. Bye now. Bye-bye.
Bye.